We're like, Deb. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my weekly Meltdown's coverage of Big Brother Canada Week 2. We have a lot to go over tonight. Really exciting week for only being week 2 in the house. They talked about the flip. They talked about the Sunsetters. I can't wait to get into all of it. But with me, as always, is the wonderful and currently off camera, Beth Dixon. How are you, Beth?
I am a mess.
Hey, that is our
as
brand.
Portrayed by this bun.
Hey,
Yeah, no,
that's pretty my weekly meltdown to be a hot mess express. So, own it.
Listen, I'm here to own it. I'm in a baggy shirt. I worked out. I watched.
Yeah.
And nothing happened in between that. So I'm here to just be.
Hey, I also worked out today. I got a facial today. So today's been
I'm so jealous. It
was probably the best facial I've ever gotten in my life. Not gonna lie, it was very good. But I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. Hello, Sam. He says he just got Survivor Gabon and Guatemala on DVD.
Ooh.
I really love Survivor Guatemala. It's one of my favorite seasons. It's very random. That's like anybody's favorite, but
and I think that Gabon. Everybody kind of shits on it, but it's kind of a comedy of errors season. It's a funny season to watch because it's bad, but it's not a bad season to watch because you don't want to watch it. Like, it's fine to go back and watch,
I also loved like the where it took place. Like, they had like one of the challenges like on the Mayan like ruins or whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry if that's not correct. I'm ignorant with a lot of history stuff. Do you think Gabon or Guatemala is going to be higher on Rob's 40 seasons ranking? Guatemala?
I think Guatemala will be at least a few higher. I have a feeling that with the Rob Has a Podcast, like 40 countdown kind of thing, you and I kind of discussed this as we're going a little off track here, but also on brand. On brand. I feel like for the countdown, we've kind of entered the second phase, as you and I were discussing, where like the first phase was really
problematic.
Just
straight up bad twist ideas.
People who don't like you don't want to go back and watch that kind of thing. The next has things that were problematic /
just kind of boring.
Or just cringy. But like, it's not overall a bad season.
Right.
So that's why I'm interested in, seeing next week. They announced, this is a spoiler. If you don't know, plug your ears, blah, 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 blah. But next week, it's going to be Caramoan, which I definitely think for me it wasn't a boring season. It just was a season that I felt like fell flat, and the people that you rooted for are traditionally not the type of people that you would normally root for in a season. Like, normally you're rooting against like the good looking guys who are dominating physically. And this time you were like, why am I rooting for them? Like, why am I rooting for Reynolds?
Yeah, right.
He's kind of a douche.
I just think that Gabon has like a very vocal minority of people that like stan the fuck out of that season for whatever reason. So I think that might elevate it a little bit. But I'm always rooting for Guatemala. As much as Danny flopped in Winners at War. But we are here to talk Survivor. Hello, Matt Henning, our moderator in the chat. Joseph Boza, Yowie, let's see, Dolores. Hello, everybody. Joseph says, Tyler should be in 7th heaven. His eye candy survived. Yes. So a lot of people online on Twitter are saying like, they didn't cover like all of like the flip that was happening. Because I was watching the feeds last night, and the LaToya that we saw on the show saying like, I don't think we should do this. It was a very different LaToya from what I saw last night. Like, she was like following Tina around the house, like pitching, like, we have to flip the vote. And Tina kept repeatedly shutting it down. And what was worse is that like Tara was right there while they were talking about it. Like, she was like involved in the conversation, even though she didn't say anything. So for this reason, I think that they made the wrong move tonight by taking out Josh and not Rob.
I actually really agree. And I do really think that his pitch to stay was a really cool pitch. And I think it was a really great game move. And the fact that they're like, actually, that was a really good pitch. And like telling it to him and then like talking about that afterwards, that should be a red flag for you. If you're like, actually, this makes sense and other people feel the same way, then you need to bond together and actually make that happen.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to me that there was kind of a fracture there of people who wanted to do and people who didn't.
Well, the issue, and I'm glad that like because I didn't really know that like Tara was kind of closer to Ro and to Kyle. So that was like new information to me. So watching that last night, in my opinion, like the cat's already out of the bag. So I think that like at that point, like you need to cut your losses and just take out Ro, because now Ro is still in the game. Say him or Kyle win HOH, like it's gonna be the Sunsetters like selling each other out to make sure that they're not the ones on the block. Because like it's pretty out in the open that they were considering the flip, and even saying like, I considered it, but I didn't go forward with it. That's still saying like, I still considered gambling with your life in this game. And that's never good reassurance to anybody. So, and Josh had a point. You know, he is a meat shield. He's always going to be put on the block. His target would be Austin moving forward, not anybody in the Sunsetters Alliance. And I really liked that when he made that pitch to it wasn't just like a one-on-one conversation. It was like in front of like a lot of the Sunsetters. They really considered it. And I'm glad that they just didn't like shut it down and like make it a super boring week 2 in Big Brother, which we often see. You know, they're really weighing like every scenario in their head and trying to move forward together. But I don't know. I thought it was a very good week.
I do too. And Dazan, now can you please let me know if I'm saying your name correctly? I think it's Dazan or Dazane. Dejan. I'm so sorry. I know that you're a patron, so thank you so much for your support. And I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your name, but I agree here. Everybody was so rude to Josh. I don't, so this is my first time watching BB Can, right? Yeah. I was thinking about this as both with Julie last week, although she kind of made it an iconic exit, but that is such a different exit to have to go up a whole flight of stairs and stand above everybody and then leave than just like walk 3 feet that way and go out a door. Yeah. Like it really, first of all, cuts down on the amount of time that you can really spend with other people. Yeah. As you're saying goodbye, but it also just like, it is very separating. Like, go there, you're no longer with us. Right. And I could like in that moment, I would just be so self-conscious. Like, what if I tripped up the stairs right now? Like, what if I fell? Like,
I think it also encourages people to say like their last piece, like looking down at everybody like Julie did last week. So yeah, I love the awkward walking up the stairs, and Josh didn't hug anybody on his way out.
Oh, and I'm here for that. I really do think that they were all really rude to him from what I saw in the meeting and all this other stuff. Just little shades of being rude. And I have never understood the idea of let's get rid of the person who's by themselves. Wouldn't you want to use him as a number at least for one more week?
I mean, Josh's vote is for sale. You know what I mean?
It's literally somebody who's saying, I have nobody. I've alienated everybody around me. Why would I continue to just lie and make up stuff? I'm not grasping at straws other than to say, I am a free vote available for your use. Rohan has people.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
So if you're the Sunsetters, you don't necessarily need him. So he might have made the pitch, honestly, to the wrong people. Yeah. It might have been better to be like, Austin, I did not mean to like really come for you. I was trying to settle the score with Jed and let him know that I didn't seriously want to consider him. I made mistakes. I'm owning up to this. Yeah. Here's the reality of the situation. You are outnumbered.
Yeah.
You are outnumbered and you need my vote. And Rohan may or may not be with you. So I can pledge you my allegiance right now.
Yeah.
And tell you, get the numbers for me to stay. Or in the case of a tie, break it in my favor.
I mean, he could have even gone to Tina. Like we saw her like pretty upset that so like the Sunsetters all decide together without Tina in the room, saying like, you know, maybe we should flip and take out Ro here. And LaToya goes to Tina, not even thinking about how that probably comes off. You know, she's thinking like, I need to go to her as somebody who's like very level headed with me. But Tina told her right to her face, like, you guys talked about this without me. You guys are strong-arming me to vote a certain way without even caring for my input in that conversation. Like, that tells me I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. I mean,
100%.
if Josh comes to Tina and says, like, listen, like, you need if you're feeling at the bottom of this alliance, give yourself a little insurance policy. Keep me around. Like, I will absolutely work with you. If I'm Tina, that's pretty enticing to kind of have all of my bases covered. I think Tina's in a really good spot.
Tina's in an excellent spot. And part of that is because of the relationship she has with LaToya. And I want to put something out there right now. It is so refreshing to see two women who are playing the game really hard, disagree about who they're going after, and try to campaign for opposite things without then targeting each other.
Yeah.
That is so refreshing.
Yeah.
Typically, I feel like, and part of this could be absolutely a natural thing, whatever, but I absolutely think that we're so used to seeing producers control the narrative from the diary room sessions in order to get into people's heads. And I really don't think that that's happening here. The other thing I really want to bring up that I think is interesting is how refreshing it is to see older players be crucial, essential players of strategic gameplay are playing the game super well and are not being targeted first.
Yeah.
It is, somebody did say, and I apologize, I think it was Yowie said, for such a diverse cast, it's disheartening to see the first two evicted people are from the LGBTQ community, which I share. I mean, I do think that that's disheartening. But I think that the part that is really nice about it is that it's not because they are trans or LGBTQ. I do
because
think
they played a bad game.
It's because they played a bad game.
Yeah.
Now, as part of that, potentially because of implicit biases and such, perhaps we can't ever truly rule that out. But it's so nice to know that like the people who were really in control of this game are typically people who don't have control in a game like this.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say is like, you know, LaToya's 34 and Tina is, I think, 40, I think. So I think with that age comes a little bit more wisdom than say like if Austin were presented with that idea. I feel like she would have a different reaction. If Brayden came to that with that idea, he would have a different reaction. So I like those two in particular together, and I hope that we see more of them kind of like weighing their options.
Absolutely. And Joseph Boza makes this great point. That is the perfect way to do an alliance. You can have opposite goals, but still work together. Yeah. And through having opposite goals and coming together and hashing it out, and even if you do different things, but just know that that's what they're doing, tell me that doesn't create trust.
Totally. And it might open your mind to like things you weren't even considering.
Absolutely. I have always maintained you don't want yes people in your alliance.
Yeah.
If you have yes people in your alliance, they're more likely to be saying yes to your face and talking about you behind your back.
Yeah.
At least if they come to you and say, Tyler, I think that idea is shit and here's why, blah, 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 blah. This is what we really need to do.
Yeah.
I am going to go push this. I know you're going to push something else. And I respect that. It's not a shock to you, Tyler, that I'm going to go push something else. And it doesn't create a distrust between us.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and if things get really bad, you can put your foot down, or in Victoria's case, her flip-flop down, and say like, this is a no, like this, I cannot compromise on this. Like, it's up to you whether you want to align with me or go against me. But understand that like, we might not be able to work together moving forward if that's the case. You know, just all very healthy communication and dialogue. Like that's the key, guys. Yeah.
Dolores says, funny, LaToya was my number one and Tina my number two, which I think, I can't remember what we said last week, but I said Tina was who I thought was going to be the winner based off of just the first elimination. And I'm really happy with my choice about that, to be perfectly honest.
I would be very okay with that.
Yeah.
Checking in with my winner pick, Beth. She's had a pretty busy week between Jetson and Tyshawn. I hope it works out for her. Like I would like to think that she's playing like a Parvati kind of game and using that flirtation to her advantage and not just being somebody who's like showman's crazy. I'd like to think that that's who we're getting, but we haven't really gotten a lot of diary room about her and where her thoughts are with that. So
I want to say that I think it's really quick to call her a Parvati. And
I'm saying like that's what I hope it is.
No, I'm not just calling you out. There's so many people I'm seeing online. I've seen it a few times in the chat. I just think like we've had 1 week of solid gameplay that we've seen.
Yeah, of course.
Parvati is not just a flirt. Parvati is somebody who can control the narrative of the game.
Yeah.
Through making people feel good about themselves. And sometimes it's through romantic flirting and all that stuff. Actually, the games where Parvati did the best really didn't have much flirting in it.
Yeah, right.
And it definitely wasn't flirting with more than one guy.
Right.
So if you look at Micronesia, it was James. Okay. She didn't really flirt like romantically with anybody else. She didn't really flirt romantically with anybody in Heroes versus Villains.
Right.
Where she was flirting the most was in Cook Islands, which was her worst showing.
Right.
And I think she got 6th place or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But I mean, she is a fantastic player, but she wasn't just about, oh, I'm flirting and people like me. It was really using her talents in a way to get everything going the way she wants to. We're starting to see shades of that with Beth.
Yeah.
But like you said, I hope that it does translate into, I have them wrapped around my finger. Now let me play Puppet Master.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see with Beth. We'll see.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who else should we talk about here? I mean, like
Sam says that Beth is also smart like Parvati, which I agree with. I just need to see the application before I will call her a Parvati.
And Matt says Heroes versus Villains is her best game, even if she doesn't win.
I agree.
I agree
100%.
1,000% with that. Thank you, Matt.
I honestly think that the reason why she won Micronesia was, first of all, because there was a final 2 instead of a final 3. I know that Henning agrees with that. I think that Suri would have won if it was a final 3. And also because Amanda is so bad at final 2 speeches. If Amanda had the ability to talk like Parvati does, Parvati would not have won Micronesia, hands down, in my opinion. Yeah. Amanda played a much better game, in my opinion, than Parvati did in Micronesia. She just can't lay it out.
Right. So let's talk about Austin's HOH week as a whole here. How are we feeling? Do we think she made the right decision?
No.
Do you think okay, explain why.
So here's the thing. At this point, you are assuming that the team twist is going to continue, right? You are in power. And even if there are people who I've never understood the let me just do what the house wants me to do in week 2. Okay. Week 1, sure. Week 2 never makes sense because you already kind of know where people are and what's happening and what people's strengths might be, what their relationships might be like. Even if it's a little off or not fully formed, you have enough information there to make the moves you want to make and whip people into your corner with it, right? Don't go power hungry. But I definitely think if you're playing a team game, why are you putting up people who you think are weak?
Right.
Why aren't you putting up the people who you think are strong?
Right.
Especially since you are not in the numbers, it makes no sense to just do their bidding because you're literally going to be going up with next and you don't have power. So you might as well go for somebody who you know is not working with you.
Sam says I would have backdoored LaToya.
I mean,
so I think like
I would have done Jedson or Tyshawn, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, right? I think it is beneficial for Austin to take out Jetson or take out Tyshawn. But what she doesn't know is that like the whole like Sunsetter alliance is happening. So ultimately, I think she made the right decision because I don't think the votes would have been there for Jetson or LaToya to go. But she didn't make that decision because she knows about the Sunset Alliance. Like she just kind of like fell into the quote unquote right decision. I think it's too early to tell, but like, do I think she had an opportunity to take out somebody bigger? Yeah. But
But think about this, Tyler. She was in a threesome really with Brayden and Julie last week. Julie went home. Where does that put you?
Right.
And you had to turn on her. Where do you think that puts you in the house?
Yeah,
you need to flip it upside down at that point, and you need to use your power to get people on your side. And I don't think that she did that. It's clear because she's not in the majority alliance.
But what happens if she puts up LaToya and then like she doesn't get the votes for her to go home? Like she is fucked so much harder than she would be if she didn't even put her up to begin with, right?
But you don't put her up with somebody like Josh. You bring Josh into the fold, into your side of the numbers, and you put two people on that you think that are strong competitors. And you say, I'm going to put up LaToya and I'm going to put up Jedson. There you go. Who do you want to go? And then that makes it so much more interesting for gameplay. Not that this week wasn't interesting, because there was a lot of interesting gameplay.
Sure. So we have a breaking news update here. We have our HOH. I'm very excited. It's going to be a great week of feeds. Victoria is our new HOH.
Ooh.
This
very
is spicy.
cool.
This is good. This is not official. It's according to Twitter, but the feeds come back pretty quickly after these type of comps. So it's looking like Victoria is our HOH, and I say good for you, girl, for winning that knockback knockout competition. I mean,
I love that BB Can said, why don't we do the competition where they got to choose who goes up? Because that is so telling of who's working with who for an HOH competition. If Tara, just from what we saw, if Tara doesn't realize that she is not in with the numbers, she does now.
Totally. Tara is a very interesting character.
She really is,
she's, like, I feel like anytime I turn on the feeds, she is like literally everywhere. Like I feel like she's playing like the Nicole Franzel kind of like rat floater type of game. I don't know if it's intentional yet. I'd like to think so, but I would like to hear a little bit more. And I wasn't impressed that she just like threw herself out at this like house meeting. Like Jetson says, like, has anybody been talking about me? And Tara is the first one to say, okay, well, I was talking about you, but it was only as a pawn type of thing. Like, just don't say anything. Like, nobody is talking about you, Tara. Just like let it go, you know.
But in the same vein, nobody's still talking about her. So what did it do? It rose her stock and trustworthiness, even if she's not involved with the numbers. How likely is it going to be that people will go, well, we got to put up Tara?
Yeah, right.
Even Jedson, like, you know?
Right. And that's the thing is like, you know, if say like an HOH has like a wonky veto type of thing.
Okay, I eat my words here. Tracy Burke says, oh, snap. Toya is Victoria's #1 target than Tara.
Yeah. Yeah, Sam says Tara and Kiefer are going up. I could see those happening, and that's my problem with Tara is that like I feel like once she gets on the block, and pretty easily too, she's like a very easy expendable person to just like, you know, like it's not going to hurt anybody's game if Tara goes here.
And I still, even though he's a part of the Sunsetters, I feel like the same with Kiefer, to be perfectly honest. So why put two of them up against each other? This is a night you want LaToya to go.
Right.
You gotta put her up against somebody that is absolutely no one's gonna vote for. You know who the best person is? I think it's Beth.
Yeah. I
make the boys choose. Who do they really want to keep?
Yeah, I think that you're right.
And just look at I don't know these people for sure. I'm going off of generalizations. That is my thing here. Who are they more likely to vote out here?
Right.
The person who tells them no all the time, or the person who says yes to them all the time?
Yep.
I'm putting that out there.
Yeah. So Sam says that Victoria's thinking Tara and Kiefer are going up, and then LaToya is a backdoor plan. So,
but I don't know if LaToya goes against either one of them. That's the problem. You gotta put LaToya up against somebody that's really gonna split the house. Kiefer's not gonna split the house. Tara's not gonna split the house. They will pile on him. The Sunsetters, in my opinion, Kiefer is absolutely 7th on the totem pole there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. She almost has to be up against another Sunsetter to go. Just so that like it's just one less vote, you know?
He says apparently Tara was already crying on the feeds.
Love it. We love to see it. Also, another thing I want to give 2 thumbs up to Big Brother Canada for. No more teams. I would like to think that teams they wanted teams to be longer in the season. They even made like the bedrooms themed for it, right? But I feel like they saw a lot of shit online about how it's like dampening like any type of gameplay. Everybody says like, I can't wait for the teams to be over, then the real game begins, blah blah blah. All this like negative stuff and like very limited options in terms of like who you can put up and all that jazz. I feel like they made a change in their twist idea and said, let's just drop the teams. It's not working.
It was let's get ready for a takeover. Never mind.
But if they change their mind, I say thank you, production, for listening. And
here's the thing: I wish, at the very least, do one more week. Or do something like add another twist for the third and final week to make it interesting. Maybe the power of the HOH is to assign the 2 teams. Okay. And that's what you've got to do you don't get to put up 2 people. It's the same kind of voting as the first week. But you are the one who individually, you get to change the makeup of the teams. You are not on a team yourself. You are the neutral person, because at this point, there's an odd number. Yeah. So you would literally say, okay, here you go. Boom, boom. Those are the 2 teams. I'm the neutral person. There we are.
Yeah. And I feel like Victoria would be the perfect person to make that just as messy as possible.
100%. 100%. That's what I think would be interesting. And then just have another competition instead of the veto, which is whichever team wins. Okay, that team is not up for elimination. The other one is. There you go.
Yeah.
Of course, that's hard to do if you haven't planned out a team competition and those kind of things. But
I also want to point out that I think Jetson might be on Victoria's radar a little bit as a pawn, just because he did pick her to go up for the battle match tonight, for the I keep forgetting, the knockout competition tonight. Yeah. So that's Jetson saying like, I could do without her being HOH. So to me that's a red flag if I'm Victoria, but we'll see. I mean, I love the Big Brother alumni TikToks that we saw tonight. That was really fun. Sarah is a really great winner. I wish they showed a little bit more of her. I mean, that's pretty much it. I
also like the anonymous dude who just got to like introduce the competition. Like, that's my favorite Big Brother part.
Canada. It's very like sponsored like the whole way through. So,
but that's what I love. I was watching with a whole bunch of Canadians. They're like, for those who are Americans, like nobody knows who this dude is. Like, he's not a celebrity. Yeah, and I was like, I want that gig. I want to be on and be like, hi everybody, my name is Beth. I'm here to host the company. No, not that Beth. Judson Taylor.
I mean, if they're looking for sponsors, listen, My Weekly Meltdown can be a sponsor. And then you could have had Allison on there tonight being like, hey, y'all, I'm Allison at My Weekly Meltdown. We're going to do a knockout competition tonight. And it would have been amazing.
Clean, but keep it a little dirty. All right, get it going. I mean, that would have been amazing.
With like a fly swatter.
Fly swatter.
Perfect. So I mean that's pretty much it. Just to recap who all is in the Sunsetters, it's Jetson, Tyshawn, Latoya, Tina, Beth, and Kiefer. So
which I do, I love the makeup of that.
I do too. I'm struggling to think of like when I've kind of been rooting for like a majority alliance as much as this. Like the only one I can really think of is Big Brother 17 when it was like Austin, the 2 twins, Shelly, Clay, and Vanessa. I think that's who it was. So that was like a 6-person alliance that I was like, okay, this is really a good team. But I like this one better.
And then they had the alternative one where they flipped 2 people out and like Steve and Johnny Mac were in it and they were the Scamper Squad.
Yes. Big Brother 17 is so good.
That is worth a rewatch. And if we ever to rewatch it, I'm sure we could get Steven to come on, or Steve Moses to come on.
I would love that. We also got the ball pit reveal, which is really exciting. Do we think that there's like some kind of hidden power in the ball pit?
I think so.
I think so too.
First of all, you don't say that in a TikTok and then not have something out there. I actually thought that's what they were going to show when Victoria lost her her thing, was that
that's
she
what
like,
I thought too.
Whoa, I found a thing. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I thought you're gonna find Twitter like a dirty needle or something in there, just like you do in like all ball pits. It's like, oh, here's a diaper and needle, and oh, cool, a cockroach. There we go. Like
that is quite the have not punishment. But no, some people on Twitter did point out that like some of the balls in the ball pit are a little bigger in size, so maybe that has something to do with it. Yeah. Maybe there's like a hidden veto. This is very in the realm of Big Brother Canada to have like a hidden veto in the have not room. Sarah, who was on the TikTok tonight, she infamously won a veto that way. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But that's exactly what I thought when Victoria was like looking for her flip flop. I just love all these like Victoria by herself segments.
I love that the edit is very pro Victoria as a character.
Yeah.
And I really hope that we get to see a lot of really cool strategic Victoria moments this week, because we haven't really seen a lot of that yet.
Right.
And I think that she is somebody who has tricks up her sleeve. And now that she has a little bit of power, I hope that we get to see some of it happen.
I will say, like, she always says on the feeds, like, how thankful and excited she is to be in the Big Brother house. And Beth, that is so refreshing to hear after we get like Jackson and Holly and Annalise, just like all of these like boring ass recruits that literally don't give a shit about the game and are just like looking for the followers after. It's refreshing to see
for the challenge.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I love to see this cast like excited to play, trying to make this flip happen in week 2. We got a lot of gamers in this season, and I'm really thankful for it. I'm very happy. I'm very happy with the season so far. Some people on Twitter are saying that like the edited episodes aren't as good or accurate as the feeds, and to that I say that's Big Brother Canada for you. Big Brother Canada 6 was
that's Big Brother period.
Right. And like it's week 2, like we're still setting up like how the season's gonna shake out, let's be honest. But I also really enjoyed this like smaller cast too of 14 people.
I think it works better.
It totally does. Yeah. I mean, I think there were like 13 people in Big Brother 10, and like every one of those cast members was a knockout. And I think that like we're on par with like maybe that happening this season as well. Like I was looking at the people sitting for the knockout competition, I was like, God, there's like so few people left already, and I could see any one of these people winning this game
and be happy with it.
Yes, exactly. Like I'm
like
rooting for everybody. Like legit, I don't have like a favorite this season yet, and I don't have somebody that I like really like fucking can't stand either.
Right.
So I'm
normally for me it's an alpha male, and the like quote unquote alpha males are still like really fun and engaging to watch.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Jedson can just be like, let's have a house meeting. And then like, I'm like, oh, okay, that's really dumb of you, but let's watch it. And it's like,
okay. Well, and like the quote unquote, like bros, like Jedson, Tyshawn, Rohan, and Kyle, they're not getting along. Like it's like 2 versus 2. So even like within like the alpha males of the season, there's a lot of tension, and like I can't wait to see one of them strike against the other. I think it could be sooner rather than later.
Oh, it has to be. With this number, you have to go against your
We're already down to 12. So
you're down to 12, and there's a 7-person alliance. 7 does not work in this situation. 5 does.
Right.
So who are the 6 and the 7? You 2 have to get your shit together.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at you. I think it's gonna weirdly. We all know it's Kiefer is 7.
Yeah.
I actually think the 6 is either going to prove to be Tina or Beth.
I think so too.
And it all depends on how well Beth can rein in the power that she has with the flirtmances. Because if she can get away with the flirtmance, Tina gets that 6th spot.
Yeah.
If she can't, she might be in the 7th spot, not even the 6th spot. So.
I think what Tina needs to do is kind of take over LaToya's position in the alliance. And I think that LaToya puts herself out in front so much on her own that like I feel like that's going to naturally happen on its own without even Tina having to push it too far. She's really anytime I turned on the feeds, like it was her having these conversations about the flip, and she was saying like Jetson and Tyshawn, like they're down, and I'm like, why are you having this conversation for them instead of them doing all of this work, all of this pitching and stuff like that? Because she was the spearhead of the Julie flip too. So like she's just using like so much social capital and putting herself at like a huge target in front of like making every decision when like if I'm Latoya, like it doesn't matter because Rohan and Kyle would be going after Jetson and Tyshawn before her. Just kick back and just see how it goes.
I really can't wait to see what Victoria does this week because I think it'll be fun. Regardless.
It's gonna be messy. So let's bring up our draft here because I did lose Josh, but I don't regret the pick at all. I put this on Twitter a few days ago, but it was very refreshing to me to see an introverted gay guy play Big Brother because I feel like we get like the Frankie Grande, like over effeminate, like crazy, like loud personality on Big Brother every single season. It's like copy and paste like the same type of gay guy every time. And Josh is like so breaks the mold for that in every single way. And I had fun watching him these 2 weeks. He was not afraid to stir up shit. These people week 2, they usually lay down and just accept that they're going home, but he fought. And I have to respect that. Was it the best gameplay I've ever seen? Absolutely not. I said on the draft he could be the next Dan Giesling. That is certainly not true. But I'm glad I had him. I only need one person to win, and I'm feeling pretty good about Beth. So.
I do think in reflecting, there are clearly types that they tried to go for, but I think every cast member breaks the mold for whatever their type is. Yeah. And that's what I'm excited about with this cast. Even someone like Beth, is already breaking the mold for, the sweet girl next door who grew up on a farm. Like, I think that's what's fun about this cast.
One thing because I'm like looking at Austin's picture right now. One thing I forgot to say is she handled herself very well in that house meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I was a little worried because like I thought she might have been a recruit coming into the season, but she seems to know her shit and she seems to be able to handle herself well under pressure. So I don't know, all good things for Austin as well. So if you are watching this live or later, leave us a comment saying who you think has the best team and who you think is going home this week, just so we can see who was right and who was wrong. But I'm very excited to turn on the feeds after we're done. I'm geeking out over the season, Beth. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's
a good season
since we've had good Big Brother.
It's
and I feel like we have it.
To your point in our draft video, it's the first new season besides the challenge.
Yeah.
Of something in a long time. Like, but even the challenge is like entities that are known. But this is like the first season of people that are new, that are not returning players since Island of the Isles. Come on. Like, this is crazy. So it's really nice to see these players coming out to play, to feed us.
Yes.
We're so hungry. We're stuck indoors and we needed entertainment.
And with Victoria HOH, we are eating very well this week.
Very well. We got a steak. We got filet mignon and all the fixins, bitch. Like, this is a good week.
Yes. Don't say all the fixins for a puzzle for Survivor. That will trigger some people on Game Changers. But with that being said, if you liked what you saw tonight and you want to be a part of one of those drafts in the future, join us on patreon.com/myweeklymeltdown. We have a bunch of different tiers, so you can see what those rewards for those tiers are. And if you are a patron, we want to have you on the show. We love having our patrons on from time to time, hearing their thoughts on the season and everything. And also, one of Austin's friends reached out to us and said that she wants to come on the show. So I think maybe in a week or two, I want to have her on. So that would be very cool as well.
That would be amazing. We'd love to have her. And I just also want to just plainly say, I said this in a tweet the other day, but I've been really thinking about, I officially joined My Weekly Meltdown a little over a year ago. I, guested beforehand. But I am just so thankful for the show and all the support that you all have been given, and Tyler and Allison, Matt Henning, who has been an amazing mod for us, who stepped into that kind of role for us, Gibson, who has just been, through and through patron. But all of you who have joined the community, who have lifted us up, who have tweeted when we're live, who have liked our videos, commented, who have reviewed our podcast on Apple Podcasts, have given us that 5-star rating and review, who have gone above and beyond. Yes, a Patreon subscription is amazing, but know that we are so thankful for just the like, the comment, the engagement, or the views. So thank you all so very much. This has been just a really fun ride for me personally, and I just wanted to take a moment to express how grateful I am.
Well, thank you so much. I feel like we've reached a new level of awesomeness since you've been here, Beth. So very, very thankful to have you with us, and can't wait for Allison to be back next week so we can chat some BB-Can with her as well. Valencia's hearts times 112. Is that a coded message? 112. That's a very oddly specific number.
I know, but I like it.
I love it. All right. Well, everybody, we love you, Matt. Thank you so much for modding.
And then a heart from Sassy Tanner.
Yes, Sassy Tanner, always in the Twitch stream. But yeah, okay. So with that being said, everybody take care. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see you next week for the challenge, and bye-bye.